about literature, language, literature. Basically, you know about the language and literature. So, the literature. What is the literature? First of all, we start the basic concept of literature, and then we will start again the main point, the subject of the romantic period. What is the literature? Literature includes drama, novels, plays, all these are included in a literature, and it is called as a literature. All are included in a literature. Then the literature is a work of art. It is a work of art and included plays, drama, novel, all these things. But the origin and the story of the process, I think I learned about the process. Hi, Rakin sir. काय बसताय? So, the literature and the origin and which period is divided, how many periods divided, and the prolonged suffer of the literature at the origin position of the modern English literature. Which is the steps and which is the periods of the literature? We see about the blackboard. I write down blackboard. The periods of literature. 8 periods. 8 periods. Specific one period is learned about in this lecture, but you all know all these periods. So first is Old English. Second is Middle English. Third one is Renaissance. Fourth, Neoclassical. Fifth, Romantic. We see about this period. Okay. 6, Victorian. 7, modern. And 8, contemporary. The Anglo section, which is are the period of the literature, and we see only the one period, romantic period. What is the romantic period? The romantic period is a great development of artistic and cultural of the literary world. That is the called as the romanticism. Mid-18th century, the marvelous change of artistic, cultural development of the literary world. And that the way of the romantic period. Okay. So the romantic period, which is the is period of, and the main romanticism and romantic periods, the two members, two authors are big supported and big, what do we say, master and father of the romantic period, Wordsworth and Coleridge. Both are the father and the origin developers of the romantic period. The romantic period in English lasted from the 1798 and 1831. This is the period of the romantic, and it was the change of a social, economic, and political growth and political transaction of the agriculture and individual societies. Both are the different. These are the period, but at this lastly fourth period is the change of the this world, because various changes in this literary world. And firstly, the period began 1798 and end of the 1837, and which is the first of the Coleridge and Wordsworth. Both are the main original authors of and the revolutions in this the literature. And while the end of the 1830 and the death of Sir Walter Scott is the Parliament of the first reformer bill and the period of the economical and political revolutions, and this period is the age of a revolution. The Sir Walter Scott, death, death of the Sir Walter and the revolution. Age of this period is age of revolution. Is called as age of revolution. The basic things of the period, specific romantic period, and what is the condition of that period. The poor people move away the urban area and work the industry, but many problem faced. What is the problem? The water industrial problem, and so many the suffering from the pollutions. So that the reason, and the lack of a clean drinking water, that time that the reason, and the so many middle class, so middle class but poor working class is people is a continued struggle, because they lack of whatever, they lack of all these things, and they struggles all and all, but middle class improve, but poor class again poor, to no yeah, no improvement in all the various poor peoples. So the you see about the romantic period, you understood what is the romantic period. Okay, then only the teachers and only the that time the authors who is romantic periods author, we learn four authors and only the teachers and poets. Okay. The romantic period is the changing world, the economic and all these things. But what kind of the effect of the authors and the poets at that period? which is the effect, and which is he what can I say, they should be in written form what is explained and what is no, what is the thing he exposed written form in his novel, poetry, and whatever they write down in form. But what is main thing? They emphasize the emotion and imagination. First feature, the romantic period is the emphasis and imagination. What is the emphasis imagination's meaning? The poet and the author, he is wrote the valuable, intense emotional expression and power of the imagination, including the emphasized imagination. He wrote the imagination, and whatever he write down in his book, the imagination is a highlight and intensive emotions. Second is celebration of nature. The focus, the romantic period of uh, the author's writing form, the basic concept, and emphasizing to nature, because at that time the Coleridge and Wordsworth, the lyrical ballad is the first uh, romantic period, the writer, and he wrote in his poems, and sometimes the nature and the human beauty in his work. He analyzed, and he in front of uh, in front in the book and writing form to the spiritual and natural and human beauty. He focused to the nature, connect to the nature. So the second is the celebration. All the in that this period, all these authors, they are focusing the nature, and the nature and its importance and connected to the nature. So that the period. Interest in the sublime. Sublime refers to the beauty. Sublime. Person to person is person to person, inspiring the poetry and prose. Terror. Sublime refers to the overwhelming beauty or terror of nature that can inspire poetry and prose. It is the process, the various meaning of the sublime, but it include in this phase the sublime refers to overwhelming beauty. Fourth one, focus on individual. Individualism means what? I think in this statement, I think the opinion is wrong. So it's my opinion. So the various authors and poets focus to individual experience, personal freedom to write down in his work. So personal freedom and exploration and self-reflection, growing personal identity. He focused on the individual in your point of view and the freedom of the individual. Rejection of industrialization, because the development and the main cause of the agriculture in this period. So the last is industrialized. Ignore industrialized. Because they're suffering a lot of problems, and that's why the rejection of industrialization. Romantic writers express the disillusionment with the industrial revolution. Innocence, degeneration, degradation, human life caused urban to industrialism. Because they suffering urban, middle class, and poor. That's why the romantic writers reject the industrialism, because they suffer lack of many problems. So the all are five features in this romantic period, and which is the writers, which is the authors of that time, and he wrote how many poems, how many prose and all these things. So the authors, five authors are five authors. Uh, Basically, five authors I William William Wordsworth. First, Wordsworth. At the Romantic period, the first author regarding the father of English Romanticism, and what was emphasizing the beauty and nature. So many poems are written the Wordsworth belonging to the nature. So the individual experience, and first of all the lyrical ballad is the best. So both are the words were emphasizing the beauty. Second one, Samuel Coleridge, S.T. Coleridge, S.T. Coleridge, Tyler Coleridge. Close collaboration with the Wordsworth. Both are the best friends at that time, and exploring the supernatural power and imagination. Coleridge insists in the poem the supernatural power and imagination. For example, the Rhyme and Ancient, the American literature, we learn about the M.A. part first, Ancient Mariner and Kubla Khan. Both are the very good and supernatural power of the imagination. Sam Coleridge wrote. Lord Byron. Third one, Lord Byron. Lord Byron. Lord Byron, known of his passionate and rebellious spirit, like epic poem. Zado Madam, epic poem. So the romantic period, the authors write down all these things. Fourth one is P.V. Shelley, idealist, revolutionary, and wrote works the prominence and unbounded exploring themes of change and revolution. The first writer, he idealized and revolutioning the theme of the individualism and the type of human potential, power and type of poor human potential. Fifth one, John Keats. John Keats. John Keats was a master and sensuous, richly descriptive poetry. Keats' works, including the beauty, mortality, and the various things he noted in his poem. The Romantic period was the transformative time and the literature changing and boundaries to the influencing the artistic of the period. That is the Romantic period, and it is the marvelous stage of the individualism and cultural and artistic to mid 18th century. So you understood all.